invite Reverend Jim Rayston to invoke the prayer. Thank you, Jim.
Help us this day to remember the sacrifice of the first ANZACs, Australian and New Zealander, and the generations of men, women and children who have died in the cause of liberty and peace. Help us to remember those who still bear the physical and mental scars and disabilities of their service. Help us to remember the widows, widowers, girlfriends, boyfriends, parents and orphans, and all those who waited in vain for the return of a loved one. Help us to remember the mateship, agony, courage and compassion of war service. Help us not to glorify the horror and tragedy of war, but help us to remember. Lord God, help us to thank you. To thank you for the freedoms we enjoy in this land.
Gallipoli was Australia's opening campaign of World War I. It only lasted 8 months and was a crushing defeat. Yet the 25th of April 1915 was a defining event in Australian history. ANZAC Day is not to glorify Gallipoli or to glorify war. War is, and always has been, a contest of wills ending in violence and destruction. The purpose of ANZAC Day is to remember Australia's brave soldiers, sailors and aviators. Today is our opportunity to pause and remember all those Australians who have served our nation in wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations. From Anzac Cove to Alamein to Banda Aceh, from Borneo to Binba to Baghdad, and from Crete to Kaysan to Kabul. It is our time to remember those who have returned from conflicts with physical or mental injury, and to acknowledge those almost 103,000 service personnel who paid the ultimate sacrifice in Australia's name. Those service personnel who sacrificed their tomorrow so we can have our today. Some say it was during that struggle that our nation was born. But our nation was born 50,000 years before Gallipoli. Gallipoli served to highlight to all of Australia and to the rest of the world the strength, resilience and fortitude of the Australian people. It brought together and unified everyone who called themselves Australian, as our service men and women fought side by side, and the families who remained at home prayed and mourned side by side, regardless of where they had been born. For some, the war never ends. So many of our returned servicemen and women experience ongoing mental injury as a result of their service. The impact on the individual and the families is significant. ANZAC Day is everyone's opportunity to acknowledge their ongoing sacrifice. When Australia or our allies are in need, our nation comes together.
Lieutenant Colonel Wendy Say, Australian Defence Force.
Korean Society, Mr. Bill James, Service Paradise Circle.
Mr. David Bellairs, the 39th Australian Infantry Battalion Association, Mr. Ian Swan, the Broadwater Southport Rotary Club, and Mr. Phil Dunsford from Surfers Paradise Rotary.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
I'm a UN peacekeeper from 1950 to 53, was a war veteran, been serving 3 years in Korea. And now I'm home and I'm at RSL, going to enjoy myself. Thank you.